Okay.
I said something wrong. Now I long for yesterday. Love was such an easy game to play. Now I need a place to hide away. Oh, yesterday. Why she had to go, I don't know. She wouldn't say. I said something wrong. Now I long for yesterday.
Okay. Hi. Good evening. Hi.
It was such an easy
Hi guys.
game to
Okay. So just
play.
waiting a few minutes to have everybody join in and have Samantha join us. Hi, Samantha. Uh, I think I sent you a video request to join the video. Maybe you can check out the link. Yes, I have sent you an invitation request and actually waiting for you to join in.
Great guitar records, great song. Yesterday, all my troubles seem so
Hey.
far away.
Hello.
Okay. Yeah. How are you doing, Samantha?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm fine. Initially Instagram was telling me you were unable to join, so I was wondering. I was like, "Hey, what's happening here?"
Yeah, I have my phone, so I was going to join that way, but I decided
Okay,
to try my iPad instead.
great. So you're sorted out now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Okay. So hopefully we're gonna have other people joining us soon, and
Yes.
so we're just gonna set the conversation rolling. I hope I hope you're having a good day. It's afternoon, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, it's 2 p.m. here
Okay,
now.
and
Yeah.
I'm guessing that we're about 5 hours ahead of you in Ghana.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We just had a time change this morning, so the time
Okay.
went back 1 hour.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be 4 hours exactly.
Yes. Yeah. But now we're at 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great. Okay, we have someone joining us, Nate Coach. Anyway, so my name is Kenneth. As you know, founder of Seek International, and so basically, we started these sessions. Hi, Nate.
Hi,
We started
Nathaniel.
these catch up sessions basically to just have casual but very important conversations, and because we love to read, because we love books, we love anything that has to do with books, and so our primary audience are readers, and we usually like to interview authors. But I think that you play a very important role in the reading ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you plan to become an author someday, but then the work that you're doing actually is really promoting the work of authors and all that. So it's a pleasure to have you here today to have this conversation. And hopefully, for me, the end goal of this conversation is to inspire someone out there, you know,
Mm-hmm.
yes, to
I
start
do.
doing something.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I definitely
So
hope to be a writer, an author in the future. So,
great.
yeah.
That's awesome already. Yes. So Samantha, basically, just tell us a little bit about yourself, generally, something very brief, and then we can get going.
Well, I don't know what to share. I'm Samantha Boateng. I recently I graduated. It was almost a year ago from the College of William and Mary with my bachelor's in Bachelor of Arts in English and History, and now I IT company here, and I I'm a builder of libraries. I started a nonprofit
Okay.
organization called Read2Lead, and yeah, that's just a little bit about me, very briefly.
Okay, so you mentioned that you did your first your bachelor in English.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you, okay,
Yes.
why English? Why English? I'm very curious.
So I it was actually a hard decision. I started out my when I went to school, I started as a government and computer science student. So it's quite different. But I realized it's my strength. I like to read. I like to write. So I was like, let me not come and stress myself with this degree. Let me do something that I enjoy, that I do well at. So that's why I decided to do English. I got to read for my whole degree. So that was
Wow.
really fun.
Because yeah, I'm actually curious because for someone who is into the business of founding libraries or building libraries, it's expected that you would want to go into business, to understand how business works. And so, well, I
Mm-hmm.
think that maybe I know that you may have it in the bigger picture, um, because basically we're talking about IT, English, business, writing, being an author. You know,
Mm-hmm.
how does it all fit together?
That's a good question. How does it all fit together? Um, I would say I decided with my degree to do something that I was actually passionate about, something that I actually cared about, rather than doing something that seemed conventional or the path that I should take or should follow. I think any path someone decides to take is valuable, um, and that like whatever path you do decide to take, then um, that will lead you to where you need to be, no matter what it is. Like God has his divine plan for all of us. So by
Right.
deciding, like by not doing business and stuff, it might seem unconventional. But at the end of the day, each thing I'm doing, I mean, I'm doing different things, but they're all kind of adding to like my purpose and my destiny. So
Great.
yeah, I mean, I don't, it's not something that I'm like, yes, I'm going to do this and this and this, because I've
Okay.
tried planning things out in the past and that did not work out for me. So, yeah, so now I'm just letting God do what he does, and me too, I'm just
Awesome.
enjoying the ride.
Wow. That's a lot of faith right there. So for someone who is into books, right, who is into distributing books and building libraries, how did how did you know that you have a love for books? Has it always been a thing growing up? Have you always loved to read? I mean, how has it been growing up?
Yeah, so I um I have loved reading like forever. From the time I was a kid, I've always like for Christmas my parents would give us books. We've always read. But the time that I started reading a lot was when I was homeschooled. So for a
Okay.
period of 2 to 3 years, we were at home. My sisters and I were at home fully. My mom was teaching us, and we had a lot of time. We didn't watch TV. We could only watch TV on the weekends. We could only use the computer on the weekends. So we had nothing else to do but read. And during that time, I mean, we had like a set of like three or so bookshelves. I don't remember, like full of books. I read every single book on them, like each day reading a book.
Wow.
So that's when it really like started, that I was like, I love reading. And during that time, even I started to write. I wrote my first magazine. It was a fashion magazine.
Wow.
So I drew all
Okay.
the things, the pictures, and everything. And yeah, so I think it all started then, but it's something that's always been there. I don't remember when I learned how to read because it was before
Right.
I could remember, and
Great.
stuff. But that when I was
And so,
homeschooled,
wow.
yeah.
Wow, that sounds very exciting because it's like having a lot of ice cream around you. If you love ice cream, you have so many varieties to choose from. And so I'm trying to put myself in your shoes at that time, loving to read and having access to all these books, and a mother who actually was teaching you. You know, most people don't have the experience of their parents teaching them at home. Would you say that your mother has been very instrumental in
Mm-hmm.
your journey, into books, into reading, and all that? Hi, Samantha. Can you hear me?
Hi.
Yes. So I was asking. You said your mom used to teach you at home.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I'm saying that. Would you say that she has been instrumental in the journey, in your journey into books, into reading, and all that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, yeah, of course, definitely. Um, we had to read. I mean, she would tell us, read these books. So, yeah, and even the nonprofit organization, Read2Lead, it started because she was teaching kids, and she like spoke to them about their need for a library and then brought it back. So, yeah, definitely very instrumental in all of that.
Awesome. Okay, so since you have mentioned Read to Lead, we can go into that conversation now. Um, how did Read to Lead start? Did you plan that you were going to start Read to Lead from the beginning? I mean, how did it all start?
So, how did we say? So my mom, in was it 2013 or 2014, she went to teach public speaking, and she taught public speaking and debate. One of the projects, she told the kids to um, go do a research project. And when my mom was growing up in Ghana, then they still had the British Council libraries and stuff from when the
Okay,
British were in rule, but more recently those aren't running and stuff. So she didn't know. She hadn't been in Ghana for a while. So the kids came back, said, we don't have libraries, we don't have these resources. So then she brought this problem back home to us here. So I
okay,
just thought innocently, I'll just collect a few books, send them to Ghana, and help help these kids.
yeah,
So by the end of our first book drive, I don't remember how many books we got, but in particular, a local, I think, Pentecost church, they had donated this massive box of books. We had hundreds of books within a few, I
wow,
think it was a month or two, um, all collected at my high school, Garfield High School. So that was when I realized this is quite a big deal. So from there, Read to Lead was born unofficially, but it was born then.
wow. Okay, so I just want to, because I mean your mother came to speak about reading, and so you're saying that the realization was that most of the kids didn't really get what she was talking about, or they were deprived of, the access to books.
It was that they were deprived from they didn't have books. Yeah.
They didn't have books. How did it feel? How did you feel when she told you this? Because before anybody is able to drive change, there's always an emotional aspect to it.
Mm-hmm.
For me, sometimes when I see kids go hungry, I just feel like crying, because I just go like, okay, I mean, if this was my child or my younger brother or sister, how did you feel? What shifted in you to make you realize that, look, I have to get books for these kids?
Yeah. So I was honestly like when I first heard it, I couldn't believe it. Like I was like this it just I couldn't process it. Before 2016, I hadn't been in Ghana since I was young, since in 2006. So I
Okay.
couldn't even picture it. And here too, like schools, I mean, libraries are such a big part of our lives here.
Okay.
Every school class, like you'll have a trip to the library. From the time I could remember, and around the time this problem came to us, we lived right across from the library. So my sisters and I, we would even walk there. Like it was like a minute away from where we lived. Like I
Right.
just I couldn't fathom like not having a library, not even owning books and stuff. Like I have my bookshelf even in my room, like my personal bookshelf here.
Right.
So thinking of that, like I mean, I was young, I was naive. I didn't understand like how different societies and stuff work fully. But I was
Okay.
honestly surprised. Yeah.
So it was more of an element of surprise and unbelief,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, great. Well, so now after getting the books, right? You said
Hmm.
that a church, there was a church that made major contributions. Aside the church, what were some of the other sources of the books?
So, most of our books, like I said, the book drive, our first book drive was at my high school, Garfield. Most of the books came from individuals. It would be maybe
Okay.
an elderly couple, their kids have all moved out. Now they have books like in their house
Hi,
that
Daniel.
they need to give away or that they didn't want to throw away, local libraries, things of that nature. So it was just different organizations, different individuals. All of the
Great.
books were collected at my high school, Garfield High School, and some at my church. But it was just individuals in my community who were like, "We have books. We heard about your project. Come pick them up, please." Yeah.
Wow. So I would then assume that the support was great. I mean, you had tremendous support from the community and from friends to get this going.
Yeah. Yeah,
Do you still
definitely.
have Okay. Do you still have some of these people check on the project? Do some of them still check on to know what's going on? Do you still need books and all that?
Yeah, yeah. Most people like that will be their first question. Even people who don't know me, maybe they know my parents and stuff. They're like, "Oh, are you still collecting books? Are you still doing that?" Like, they kind of associate me with that now.
Right.
But yeah, it's still like the question. And my high school, like I mentioned, Garfield, then keep all of our books now still for us because yeah, we
Okay.
don't have the capacity to keep them. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So now let's come to Ghana. Okay. So you came to Ghana, just came to donate books and came to build a library. Now, so I live in Ghana, and
Hmm.
sometimes the perception is that it's very difficult getting things done here. Okay, so having to build a library, an actual library, not a virtual library, I just can't imagine what you went through from transporting the books all the way, coming here, storage for the books during the library building process. What are some of the challenges that you faced?
It's funny that you mentioned that because I honestly like it just brought a lot of memories.
Right.
But I would say shipping the books wasn't that difficult. As long as you have the money to ship, then
Okay.
that's fine. And we were able to fundraise. It was once we got there. I would say having now that we have a team of people, especially like workers who understand and have gotten a hold of our vision to build the
Mm-hmm.
library, it's changed
Right.
the way our work is done because at
Okay.
first it was difficult. We didn't have a relationship with like the workers who are building, so they didn't even know that this is a nonprofit. They didn't know the cause and stuff until we went and like we're able to talk to them, develop that relationship. Keeping the books too. At first, we were keeping them at the school, and the school it had like the windows were open, so they kids would like
Wow.
grab the books like
My
through
word.
through the window. So that was an issue. My
No.
one of the workers, like I said, we built relationship, decided to stay there and like watch it overnight, like guard the area overnight and stuff. But that was a challenge. It was an election year in Ghana, 2016. That was yeah, the last
Wow.
election year. So of
Wow.
course, I'm sure you'll know there are a lot of campaign things going on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it also was a negative thing for us. Politicians interfering and stuff. And this is something we're just doing for communities, not a political thing. So that was
Yeah.
difficult to navigate as well.
Did you did you
Yeah, it
ever
was
did
just
you
a
ever
number of things.
yeah, but did you ever have anyone try to politicize the process?
Yeah, yeah. Definitely. Even at our grand opening, the assemblyman for the area, then because of his party and stuff, he somehow forgot to invite anyone from the opposing party and only invited people from his party. And obviously,
Wow.
I didn't know any of these people. So, like, when it came to the ribbon cutting and opening, they just pushed these people beside me. So, there was
Good.
this picture that was trending of me with this political candidate.
Political party.
Even to the point where like we almost lost a sponsor because of it. He said, "I didn't know this is a political thing. I'm here,
Wow.
like I'm lost." At the time, I was about to turn 17. I'm 16. I'm confused. I don't know anything about Ghana politics at this time, so it was very scarring.
Yeah.
But
But
eventually, Kwame
okay.
Sefakai helped, called the politician out by name, said, you, and
Nice.
you, what you did, that's not right. This is a nonprofit, and helped and make it clear. So
Wow.
we were successful in the end, but
Great. That's so now, so this is also an entrepreneurial journey, right?
hmm
So basically your mother initiated the whole process by telling you about the deprivation of books in Ghana.
yes.
Now, how okay, so every we know how every eagle trains their their eggs to fly.
hmm
It gets to a time when they take them to greater heights and leave them to be on their own. Now, how has that support been from your mom? Because has she been there throughout? Because I can imagine a teenager dealing with grown up issues like politics, building a library project, shipping books. How have you been on your own, or have you had the support? Because I'm sure every young person going to watch this is going to wonder, okay, well, she had her mom, so after all, I don't have my mom to support me, or I don't have family, I don't have friends to support me. How have you managed? Have you been on your own, or it's been this and that?
I don't know if I could do this on my own. I've quit Read2Lead many times. My mother can attest to that.
Wow.
But I would say because she is an adult, she was able to kind of steer me a little bit more, like keep me driven and stuff. I would say it's helped me learn, and I think like to encourage others that like
Yeah.
with any type of entrepreneurial journey, you'll have to make sacrifices. Like it won't be
Right.
about you and how you feel. So, and I think I didn't understand that fully when we started. Um, but yeah, communicating with like our team in Ghana and stuff, mostly my mom has handled that. If anything, I mostly handle here. I would say even if it's not necessarily your mother and or an adult, like try to find a friend at least to work through things with, where you can split up the
True.
work. Maybe one person is better at dealing with people. They can deal with the people. And for me, I know I'm better at writing, so I can do the writing and those kinds of things.
Right.
So like splitting up the work with your strengths, I think is very valuable. Yeah.
Great. Um, so the first library project, what's the current location? Where is the first library currently?
It's in Bowie in Accra.
Okay, all right. And
hmm
I understand that there are two libraries. And so where's the second one?
The second one is in the Ashanti region. It's
Okay,
right. It's between Kumasi and Sunyani. So
okay, all right.
yeah.
Did you have a similar experience, in terms of challenges, with setting up the second library, or you were able to transport your set of experiences into building the second one? Was it easier? Because we assume that
Yeah.
it gets easier as you go along.
It was so much easier. I mean,
Okay.
it's almost like we didn't even have to do anything. I would
Wow.
say it wasn't only because of our knowledge and experiences, but because the community really appreciated this work, valued it and stuff. Not to say that the first
Right.
one didn't, but I would say that because it's a smaller community, it was easier to communicate with everyone. Like we
Great.
spoke to the
Yeah.
king of that community, we spoke to the assemblyman, like we really were in the community. And also with that community, I think it was about 50 years prior, my grandfather built a school for them. So
Wow.
I think because we have that good rapport, my grandfather built a school, the first school there. So us
Okay.
also bringing the first library, it's like kind of like generational, like
Yeah.
tie in a way.
Yeah.
So
That
yeah.
that that's definitely awesome. That's definitely
Hmm.
awesome. And it is beginning to sound like you're from a family of I don't want to say academicians, but people who are passionate about education. Is that right?
Yes, yeah, definitely. I mean, my grandfather, he grew up in a very, very poor family, but ended up becoming a farmer, becoming very wealthy. And even when he became wealthy, he cared about education so much that he went back, got his high school certificates, even ended up going
Wow.
to Oxford University to get his
Whoa.
degree, put
Wow.
all of his kids through school and stuff. So that has just been instilled through generations, like
Wow.
schooling, getting your degrees, getting education, and not keeping it for yourself. I think that's an
Okay.
important thing, making sure that,
True.
let's say someone is working for you, that they also have access to the resources. He built the school
Wow.
for his workers' children so that they wouldn't just like follow in their parents' footsteps. Of course,
Hmm.
he appreciated the work that they were doing, working on the farms and stuff, but you don't want to keep people in a place just because you benefit from their labor and stuff. You want to
Yeah.
support them and help them get to a better place, because even if you don't necessarily benefit, they in the future, like they will, it will just make, it makes better population, better country,
Definitely.
things like that. So yeah.
Great. What other countries are you looking at to establish libraries? Because I know there's Ghana. Are you planning on expanding to Nigeria, for
Yeah,
instance?
I would be happy to expand. I mean, I think everyone in my circle knows I love Rwanda, so I would love to
Oh,
expand to Rwanda. I've been there
great.
a few times, so I've
Okay.
like grown to love it. So Rwanda, Nigeria, anywhere, honestly. I love Africa,
Nice.
the continent. I definitely will focus on Ghana for a while
Yeah,
just to
definitely.
establish it a little bit more. But yeah, I would happily
But
expand.
so that brings me to the question. Do you plan to relocate to Africa someday, or specifically Ghana? Do you plan to relocate?
Yes,
Because it looks like everything is revolving around, you know.
yeah, definitely. Like in the next 5 years, it's one of my goals. One of my,
Whoa.
yeah, definitely in the near future. So Ghana will see me soon.
And are your friends happy about that?
I mean, my friends can join me. They can visit me. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll stay in touch for sure.
It
Yeah.
yeah. Because one challenge that you mentioned, which I really can relate with, is the support from those over here in Ghana initially when you started. Because when you don't have the networks, everybody or the wrong people try to take advantage of you,
Hmm.
right? So, what kind of networks are you building currently
Yeah.
in Ghana? Because it's important to have that network so that it's easier to get things done. What kind of networks are you building? How are you networking? What are some of your networking tips?
I would say right now, like as of today, LinkedIn
Yeah.
is probably like my biggest way to network, like finding
Okay.
other young African professionals, and then Facebook as well. I mean, that's how we connected, meeting young, especially like there are a lot of Ghanaian youth networks and stuff. So joining those types of networks, connecting with the people in them. I'm still, of course, learning and navigating and trying to build my network because
Right.
I've grown up here in the US. I've lived here my whole life, so this is where like I'm based. But I would love to grow it still with like-minded young people who are passionate about
Sure.
change, passionate about education, about literacy. Yeah.
Great. So let's just. I think we have a number of people who have joined and all that. I just want to say that, guys, you can just put in a question, because the conversation is going in a certain direction. But if you have
Mm-hmm.
any question or any comment, just drop it in there. Samantha will be more than happy to react or to respond to your questions. For me, this is very exciting because I have come to appreciate the value of hard work and not downplaying any achievement at all. Trust me. Most people even laugh at our politicians because someone can have a whole event for commissioning a public toilet that has like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just two, something very basic.
Yeah.
And so for you to have built two libraries, successfully, and to have them running is a very huge feat. Now, when it comes to the day-to-day running of these libraries, okay, how do you go about it since you're not here? Do you have employees or you have volunteers, and how do you manage them?
So we do have employees. So in our Ashanti Region Library, it's actually some of the teachers. Like I said, the community is so passionate about it that they kind of took it under their wing. So right now we have two teachers there who teach every day and run the library there since school is
Oh,
still
wow.
closed.
So they
Hmm.
teach in the library or they teach in a school but work with the library as well?
They teach in the library for the time being
Wow.
because of
Wow.
COVID. But yeah, but
Wow.
they teach in the schools when they're open. But because of like
Wow.
everything, yeah, so
Are
they're
we gonna
teaching
see
there.
are we gonna see a Read2Lead school coming up soon? Hopefully.
We might. I would. I mean, if anyone wants to collaborate on a
Hi
school
Davis. Hi
project,
Eloy Davis.
then I would love that. I mean, yeah, we can talk about that in the future.
Sure,
And
sure.
then with our other
It's
library,
it's amazing, yeah.
yeah, with our other library, we do have a librarian there, and then we have a teacher
Okay.
there as well. Yeah,
Okay. No, it sounds like a good plan to have a teacher
yeah,
at the library.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
awesome.
For now, we realized with COVID, I mean, it's difficult, of course, for them to come, but especially in our second library, a lot of kids linger around the area, so we just decided why
Okay,
not add a teaching times table to them. So
right. So I want to delve into a few other things. So let's start. First of all, how do you keep yourself motivated? Because you see, I wanted to ask you if you've ever had any crying moments, any moments where you just wanted to cry. How do you keep yourself motivated?
I've definitely cried a lot during this, especially when we first started. I mean, when we were in Ghana, like I mentioned, it was very frustrating in 2016. Sometimes I'll go to the bathroom, cry. I didn't want my mom to see me crying. I'll be crying. But I would say that summer too, we didn't finish the project in the time we had expected.
Okay.
But we opened the library for a little bit for the kids to come in, and they came, ran, excited. I have this video of them just excited. I mean, I couldn't understand it. Like, there's nothing there, but they
Wow.
were happy. But I guess what motivates me is knowing that this project, like I said, it doesn't matter how I feel. It's not determined by if I'm happy, if I'm sad, it's about creating communities, it's about improving literacy, it's about the mission, empowering
Wow.
future leaders by encouraging a love of reading. So no matter how I feel, if I'm tired, if I don't feel like doing it, it's bigger than me at this point. We have libraries. I can't just say, "Oh, I'm done," whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. It's
Yeah.
already there. So I think that's what how I keep motivated, like by just remembering, like, no matter how I feel, this is what the mission is, and the mission is going to be done whether I like it or not. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Wow.
hard. I mean, you don't always feel the same about it every day. You won't always feel excited about it every day. You even like some programs, you're like, I don't know how I feel about this, but after a while, I mean, it's for the greater, it's for community, it's for
Right.
others and stuff. So yeah, that's how I try
Great.
to keep motivated.
That sounds very reassuring. Um, what's your daily routine like? Because there's a lot of planning. You're still in school. You're still in school, I
I just
presume.
finished.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
But definitely, I know that it doesn't end there with schooling. So
Hmm.
let's get into your day to day. How do you plan your day? I mean, and also it's also got to do with how you keep yourself motivated every day, not to give up. You know,
Hmm.
how do you on a day to day basis? How is a typical day like for you?
So typically my typical day. So usually I work full time now for an IT
Okay,
company. It's a family
okay,
business, so that does take up a lot of my time. So usually I go to work. But right now with Read2Lead, we're doing a daily reading program for
okay,
kids
great,
around
right,
the world. So we have kids, Ghana, UK, US tuning in. Um, so I usually work, plan that a little bit, try to organize it. We have a lot of volunteers, so like try
okay,
my best to communicate with them. Our libraries in Ghana are a little bit more independent, and like I said, my mom kind of she's very good at managing people, so she tends to communicate with them more than I do. But usually I talk to her about updates. We talk about like what we can do in the future, new projects and plans that we have, um, how to reach more people, more kids, and things.
right,
So a lot of it now, I mean, because of COVID, everything's virtual, everything's kind of closed and slowed down. I mean, the Ghanaian economy, a lot of things, like it's very slowed down. So I
yeah,
would say it's mostly just kind of planning, envisioning 2020, envisioning like what we can do now, changing our approach, making it new
yeah,
and stuff. So yeah.
great. Nice. So then we're just going to wrap up the conversation about the library. So with the third library, right? Because I know you're working on a third library.
Yes.
What location are you looking at for that library
So it's
in
actually being
Ghana?
built now. It's in Kumasi.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we have, I think we just have to put up the roof and then do the interior, like the flooring, the
Great.
walls and stuff. So it's in Kumasi. It's actually in where my family's from, Kote. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. I remember I was in Kote. I when I was in KNUST, I actually lived in Kote.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yeah, it has a lot of lovely people there, very welcoming.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah, so it's there now. It's right by the Catholic primary school. I don't know if you
Okay.
know that school. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. From Ayibiase Kote. Yeah, interesting.
Hmm.
I mean, people. So, what kind of support, do you need currently? Because currently in Ghana, there's a lot of talk about education, and
Yeah.
there's one prominent institution, the Ghana Libraries Association. I'm actually going to share this video with them to have a look at the work you're doing, and also definitely I would want you to share your website and other things. But currently, what kind of support are you looking at having from the Ghanaian community? From anyone at all? Generally, what kind of support does Read2Lead need?
So I would say it's kind of different things. So for our Ghana team, I mean, in the near future, I'll put it out there like when the time comes, but we will like
Sure,
be adding more people to our team in Ghana, more volunteers, especially, and then we'll hire more people. So that's a
sure.
change, hopefully, for the coming year. And then the other need we have is money. I mean, or
Hmm.
materials. um, I think with any nonprofit organization, they can agree. Of course, soliciting funds isn't always easy, but it's something
Yeah.
that we're constantly working on. We do have some, like a lot of people give from their own pockets, organizations,
Hmm.
but that's our other need. Yeah. So those
Okay.
two, more people who
Right.
are interested in volunteering, visiting our
Yeah.
libraries, and monetary support.
Yeah. So your libraries are open to everybody, general
Mhm.
public, and
Yeah,
all that. Is it for
yeah.
free?
So yes, well, kind of. So
Okay.
we do have a fee just if you want to read and stuff, just to make sure
Yeah.
that you don't come and like tear the pages. But for our library, it's 5 cities, and it's a one-time
Okay.
payment. Just to keep you people accountable that these are books, they're not
Yeah.
just like play toys and stuff. Um,
That's very cheap. I mean, very
yeah,
almost free. You know.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Almost
So
free.
that's our only fee. Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. So now this next question, I'm laughing because I've noticed that you love to dance a lot, and I have actually seen you do very creative stuff with your dancing, where you're trying to like communicate something through dancing. I mean, tell me about your love for dancing,
Um,
because what I see is, I think I actually saw a video where the kids were dancing, and I think you had this event where it was interspersed with dancing and all that. I mean, how does dancing fall I mean, where does it fall in all of this?
so I do have a video of me dancing with some kids. That was when I was in Rwanda, actually. We went
Okay.
to visit a nonprofit organization that um, supports young people, and they also have literacy programs and stuff. So that was fun. I happened to be there, and they were dancing, so I was like, let me join. But I just I don't know. I love dancing. At school, I decided to join our African dance team, and it just grew on me. I would say with dancing though, I feel like it relates so much to like my passion about literacy and like writing and stuff because I care so much about creative education. I mean, we've
Okay.
used our
Okay.
library spaces for dancing, for
Wow.
entertainment purposes. We have fun fairs almost every year. So it's a very big part of it. We don't want it to just be like, oh, you have to come and only read and that's it. We want it to be a
Yeah.
community where children feel free to express themselves. Maybe at home they don't have someone to like pay attention to them because their parents are busy
Yeah.
working all the time and stuff. We want the libraries to be a place where if they like to dance, they can dance. If they like to read,
Wow.
they can read. If they like different things. And with our Kumasi library, the way we're building it, we're creating spaces for more creative arts and stuff.
Endeavors.
So
Hmm.
we'll
No,
have
but
the
it's
library and the community
yeah.
center. So
It's really, I was so happy when I saw the kids dancing, and
hmm
it's just amazing. It's just amazing how you're able to link dancing and reading, because you realize that, or what I realized was that there was this ambience, you know, this joy that comes with the whole entertainment and gaining knowledge thing. I don't know how you did it, but it's working, and I think that it's kind of creating an opportunity for those in the dancing industry to also have some relevance with education,
yeah,
because I yeah, one thing that you said that I appreciate very much is how to creatively express knowledge, you
mm,
know, and I see that dancing is I mean, nobody, I didn't think of it, it didn't occur to me, but somehow it's beginning to make sense that kids love to dance a lot. And
yeah,
so if they come to your library and they know that, oh, I can have fun dancing and reading,
yeah.
it's
And
just
even
it's just yeah.
I mean, even preserving like local dances and stuff. I mean, we brought a Panlogo teacher to come teach
Oh
at the
wow.
library, and that was great. And even
Wow.
in Kumasi, then our volunteers, we usually bring students from the U.S. They went to learn Adowa from like actual like
Okay.
Adowa dancers and stuff and these types of experiences. I mean, and they learned from kids. That's what
Right.
was even better. Learned how to do Adowa from kids. So it's just great. I mean, dancing is fun. It's great. It's a way to be active. It's
Yeah.
a way for people who might not be great at sports to still have physical activity and
Right.
stuff. So
Nice. No, dancing is fun. I mean, everybody, even if you don't know how to dance, it's a fun activity. Yeah. So,
yeah.
just my not my final question, but how does the future look generally? What do you see happening? You've mentioned that in the next 5 years you hope to relocate here. Um,
Mhm.
Read2Lead didn't initially start out to be a library. That wasn't the plan.
Mhm.
But I just want to know, as a person of faith and as a person of great conviction, how does the future, what do you see? I mean, how do you see this whole thing playing out? What should we expect in the next, let's say, 3 to 5 years generally?
Um, I would say definitely expect Read to Lead morphing into more than just libraries, morphing into social enterprises, youth economic empowerment and development,
Mm,
a place for that, um, like a business and entrepreneurship type of setting and center.
okay,
That's something that I'm like planning on, praying on, thinking on, and stuff. So, yeah, those are some things up in my mind. A school definitely that will be probably be a little further in the future, but definitely
sure.
schools of sorts, and our libraries too are changing. Rather than us
Okay,
building the physical structure, hopefully next year or so we'll launch an application for communities to
okay,
apply for a library. So we'll take
okay,
libraries to communities rather than like building it up. So a lot of communities they have buildings and stuff that don't have anything,
okay,
or
okay.
like a one room type of setup. So
Yeah,
bringing the books, tables, chairs, bookshelves, all of
okay,
that, we can do that. Um,
yeah,
but just figuring out how we plan on implementing it.
sure,
Yeah.
sure.
But a lot
That's
of
I think
things.
that yeah, and that makes it more impactful because it makes you know where the greatest needs are.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just building castles in the air. And some people may not need the libraries, but of course, it
Yeah.
makes sense to build up the libraries where they're needed.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
right? Yes. So, wow, we've done almost an hour, and I just didn't realize that the time was moving so fast. I just want to ask you this final question. What is your
Okay.
greatest fear? What is your greatest fear in life? I mean, you just entered your 21 years, right?
Yes.
And in this brief period of your life, you've managed to accomplish so much. I just want to say a big congratulations. But I want
Thank
to
you.
ask you, what is your biggest fear in life?
That's a good question. I mean, truthful, I feel like a lot of people have a lot of fears. I would say for
Right.
me, probably not living up to my full potential. I think my biggest fear is being afraid. Like my like fear. It's honestly I'm
Yeah.
afraid of being afraid to do stuff that I limit myself
Esther is
to
actually
just my
laughing
little
at you.
corner. Yeah. I'm afraid that I'll just limit myself to my corner, stay here, not do all that I'm meant to do and fulfill all that I'm meant to fulfill. I would say that's probably yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. Okay. So I guess as you rightly said, everybody has a fear. Hi, Esther. Everybody has a fear, and it's amazing. Sometimes you see people do things on the internet, you see people do things online. And for instance, the first time I bumped into you online, I'm like, this girl has to be very brave to come to Ghana to build a library. Like, you know, people don't get to see the other side of fear, where it's like, okay, this person is confidently doing this, but she's afraid, and so you have managed to put up a very strong front, and your fear, I think, is very legit because most great leaders today attest to the fact that they may not look afraid, but they are afraid. And your
Yeah,
vision, we all know that your vision or every vision that is significant always looks scary, you
yeah.
know. And so the
And I
fact
would,
that, yeah,
oh,
no,
I would just say that I just like social media, I feel like a lot of times affects how people see themselves and the work they're doing and stuff. And they're like, wow, this person is doing such great things. And I don't think I could ever do anything. And I would say, like, that's one thing that I feel like our generation, like young people now, need to get away from. Um, like, just because someone is doing something and it's great, they are doing that in their corner and that's their journey. Your
yeah,
journey is
yeah,
different, your path is different. Whatever you're meant to do, do it. Like,
wow,
I saw this video and
wow,
I talk about it kind of a lot, but this girl said her friend had a brilliant idea for a business, but saw someone had done it on Instagram already. And she's like, oh, I'm not going to do it anymore. It's already been done. And the market is saturated. And her friend and the girl was like, the market isn't saturated. It doesn't have you in it. And that hit my heart. Like,
wow,
there's no such thing
wow.
as like a saturated market. There's no such thing as, I mean, of course there is a saturated market and stuff, but
I mean, I get you, yeah,
there, you like whatever work that is put on your heart and stuff, as scary as it seems, like you were saying, you still like, it's still so possible and it's still so
yeah,
real, and like you're capable of achieving it and doing it and stuff, no matter how
true,
scary it seems. I mean, some of the things I'm thinking about, I'm like, this, I don't know, will I be able to do this, me, Samantha Boateng, like, can I and stuff? But I'm thinking like I'm limiting myself. I'm even thinking too
right,
small. I'm being very moderate. When we are
right,
created to do so much. I mean, look at what some people have been able to accomplish. I mean, we put men on the moon. Why can't I, do something I'm passionate about, build communities, support others and stuff? It's like,
yeah,
I feel like we limit ourselves in our thinking sometimes, but that we
right.
definitely need to break.
Great. Wow, I feel very inspired right now. So, what are some books that you would recommend? Do you have any books that you recommend and any movies that you think everybody should watch? Or I don't know if you're a movie person, but what would you really recommend? How do you keep yourself informed? Are you always on the news? I mean, how do you keep yourself educated? Because beyond school, you know, keeping yourself educated is one very huge challenge. So how do you keep yourself informed? What books are you reading? Mind sharing that with
So,
us?
yeah. So, okay, how I keep myself informed, partially social media, but of course, social media,
Okay.
you can't get everything.
Yeah.
I would recommend, I follow like BBC News and stuff. I
Okay.
like getting news outside of the US. So, like Al Jazeera
Okay.
and stuff, because I do feel like
Okay.
they tend to be a little bit more unbiased. um,
Okay.
and and they tend to have like more international topics. So like BBC has a very large Africa section, which I like to go through like every few days or so. And
Mm.
follow, even if you don't go on the website, following them on social media, following like BBC News Pigeon and stuff. Like they have
Oh yeah.
African news and stuff. Yeah, that's how I get some of my news, like in Pigeon. So
Yeah.
I would say, like, even if you can't go on the actual news site, social media is great. The news, like BBC, they post all of their news that they post on BBC.com on Instagram. So if you follow them, you can keep pretty well updated. I
Right.
would say too, I try to, like, if I see something, if I hear something, I always try to Google it. Google is your best friend. Everything
True.
Google, like, no matter what it is.
True.
Books I like. I like novels more than anything else.
Wow.
So
Oh, I see.
I
I
don't read a
see.
lot of like self-help or
Like
motivational books. But
that.
I'm even looking
Wow.
at my bookshelf now. Um I love Amata Edu. She's a
Okay.
Ghanaian author, for people who might not know. Wonderful, lovely. She's probably my favorite author, not just because she's
Oh,
a Ghanaian woman, but and my favorite book of hers is Changes, a Love Story.
okay.
It's not a cliche love story. I don't like love stories, but it's a very good book. I really like that book, and I have authors that I like. It's hard to choose a book when you're reading so many
Yeah,
books, but
true. Who
I
are
would
some of your
say
favorite authors?
Amata Edu for sure. Buchi
Sure.
Emecheta, a Nigerian woman
Okay.
writer. Um, I like Aikwe Arma. Most of my favorite authors are all African as well. Um,
Great. Exciting.
Chimamanda Adichie. Uh, and I really like Tomi Adeyemi. She's a young new author.
Okay.
And then
Oh,
another,
nice.
my last is TC Dangaremwa. She's from Zimbabwe.
Oh, um, I remember we Seek International read one of her books. I just can't remember
Okay.
the title.
Nervous
Um,
Conditions.
Very good. Nervous Conditions. That
Yeah.
was like that was her first book we read, and
Hmm.
hopefully we may reread it. But I think since you've mentioned, we'll check out her other books. But
Yeah.
Nervous Conditions was like a thriller. Like it was awesome.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm going to take these as book recommendations for the Sikh community. I'm sure
Yeah.
they'll be excited. Yeah,
Yeah. And I can send a list too of my favorite authors.
Yeah,
But it's
true.
hard to
That'll be
choose.
yeah.
I mean, I like Peggy Opong. She's a local
Okay,
author. She's quite smaller, but her books are very they're different than any books I've read. So I really like that.
true,
They're almost like
true.
watching a movie. My favorite movies. I don't really have. Right now I'm watching a lot of TV shows. So
Okay,
I watched
so tell me, what are some of your favorite
I would
TV
say
shows then?
Sister
Okay,
Sister. I like Sister
okay,
Sister. It's a classic.
okay.
The Parkers, they were both added to Netflix. And then
All
I
right.
recently watched Enola Holmes. That's a movie. It's about like the fictional character Sherlock Holmes, his sister.
Okay,
So that was a good movie. But I would say I like more books than movies, so I can't give great
nice.
recommendations.
Thank you so much for that. But it's very funny you're mentioning Google. You know, most people in Ghana or most people
Hmm.
in Africa think that maybe other people in the US and other places have very special access. And you're mentioning Google, and everybody has access to Google. And for me, that's like reassuring because it tells me that there is the platform is available for anybody to
Yeah,
be great, anybody to research, you know.
yeah.
Um, so now, what would be your advice to any young adult who wants to achieve something, who is afraid or I mean, who feels down? What would be your advice to any young adult or any teenager who wants to achieve something?
I would say two things. Firstly, whatever you're doing, do it for the right reasons. Let's say you're
True.
starting like a nonprofit organization or an NGO. The easy thing is, oh, I want to be famous. I want people to know I'm a good person. That's why. But that's not really a good reason.
Mm,
So I would say, like, if you're going to do something, do it for the right reasons. If you want
the
to
right reason.
if you want to support a community, do it because you care about community development. If you like want to help young people get jobs, you're doing it because you care about young people getting jobs, things like that. So I
Right.
would say do it for the right reasons firstly, and secondly, find your passion. Don't be passionate about something because someone tells you to be passionate about it, because that will die out very quickly. But I would say
True.
find something that you yourself you can hold on to and know, I care about this thing. This is important to me. So I would say find your own passion. So those are the two things. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Wow, Samantha, this has been a very interesting session. Um, Definitely, I know that we're going to engage you further. Beyond today. Hopefully, we're going to try to visit some of your libraries. I'll send
Yeah.
you videos and pictures of that. And it's my prayer that you get all the support, because one thing about growth is once you're headed in the right direction, support comes naturally. And,
Hmm.
it's my prayer that you get all the support that you need from your friends, from your community, from Ghana, from the government, to make Read to Lead a very thriving, endeavor. I would also like to thank you so much for making the time, out of your busy schedule to share a bit of yourself with us, to share the story of the journey of Read to Lead. And for me, I think that uh, a lot of people are going to be inspired by this conversation, because one thing that you've made us realize is that, I mean, if we're able to put men on the moon, then there's nothing we cannot do, and
Hmm.
the sky is just the beginning and it's not the limit.
Yeah.
You have spoken to the youth, you have advised the youth, and I don't know if you have any final words um, before we sign out. Any
I just want to
final
say
words, any
thank
shout
you
outs?
for having me. Thank you for being here. Thank you to all my friends and family who have joined. I see all of you
Great.
here, so I appreciate that for your support. And thank you for having me, Kenneth. It's been great.
Sure.
It's been
Yes, a
fun.
great pleasure. Yeah, Ira Abna. Hi,
Oh, that's my
Irabna. Yes, thank
sister.
you for just.
Love you too.
Oh, I see. Yeah, thank you for joining us, Irabna. Thank you so much for the support, and everybody who joined us. Um, I would say that follow Read to Lead. What are the social media links for Read to Lead on the website?
Our all of our social media is at read the number two lead INT. So Read to Lead
Okay,
International. And then our website is
international.
read
Okay,
the number two lead.net.
great. Right.
Yes.
And so I guess you're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Facebook, Instagram,
Nice.
Twitter, LinkedIn, everything.
Sure.
You can
Great.
find me
And
too.
be
It's my full name everywhere, Samantha Boateng.
okay.
So
Nice. Yeah, and because you've made some book recommendations to Seek International, I'll also say that you guys can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter as well. Seek International. Once you Google that, and on our website, seekglobal.org.org. You know what happened?
what?
So I actually had seekinternational.com. I purchased the domain, and
Mm-hmm.
then I think it expired and I forgot to renew it. And I think another NGO, another social enterprise in another country, another African country, just took it up. And I actually had to write a blog post on how we lost it. So that was a big lesson. And
Yeah.
so we're now on seekglobal.org, which is also fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's been a great session, and as I said, we're going to engage you more. Um, you're part of our community now, and we're part of
Yes.
your community. So it's a great pleasure, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
Have
you
a
for having
very
me.
wonderful Sunday, and thanks to all our audience for joining us. Samantha, I think you're a great person, and I think you should keep being great. Never give up, because what you're doing is going to change the world.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you too. So have a great day, Samantha.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.